Good morning, all. How are you doing? How's reInvent going? Day 4, I believe. This is my first talk at reInvent, and I'm very excited about it. And this is a topic which I think is very important and top of mind for most developers and companies today. So today, I'm going to talk about how to ensure code accountability and trust in the age of generative AI. So how many of you using AI coding tools for writing code today? Can I get a raise of hands? Okay, almost half of you or more than half of you are using AI code generation tools. So my talk is basically about how to use AI coding tools responsibly, how to make sure you adopt them into your SDLC in a good way. My name is Manish Kapoor, and I'm the Senior Director at Sonar. I'm based in Austin, and let's get started with that. So today, the agenda for this session is, I'll talk about 4 things. I'll talk about how AI is being used in the software development lifecycle. How do you preserve code accountability, and what are the challenges associated with code accountability and trust and ownership when it comes to AI code generation? Next, I'm going to talk about some strategies that you can implement to help you adopt AI code generation and AI overall in your SDLC in a responsible fashion. And then last, most of this talk is not about any products, not about any selling from my side about Sonar products or anything. Last, I'll tell you how we are helping you meet some of those strategies which you should implement as a company. So the role of developer is changing as AI becomes more pervasive in the SDLC. Today, if you see, developers are responsible for writing the code, debugging the code, maintaining the code, and they collaborate with the rest of the team to bring software to life. With AI taking on the task of AI code generation, that role of developer is changing significantly. So let's see how, I'll talk about how I think the role of developer is changing. So here, generative AI and large language models are becoming pervasive in the software development lifecycle from the start to the finish. Whether you are designing an application, coding an application, building, testing, deploying, or even operating an application, it's important to understand that AI will play an important part in all of those stages. The slide on the left side is where we are today, and I call it as AI-assisted. AI-assisted is where we are today in terms of what is happening today with AI in the development cycle. And AI-generated is where we are headed to. So there's a current snapshot which is on the left, and the future is on the right? So I'll talk about how it is changing and how AI is getting embedded into SDLC. So today, if you see, we have GitHub Copilot and all the coding assistants that are helping you write code, helping you write the design, helping you write test cases, helping you build your build scripts. All of that is happening today. Fast forward, I don't know how many years, maybe next year, maybe a couple of years, is going to be AI-generated world. AI will become even more embedded into your SDLC. From writing specs to code, to building the code, to self-healing the code, most of those tasks will become autonomous with agentic AI systems. What that means is the role of developer will shift completely as we move into the next era of SDLC in terms of how SDLC happens in future. And most customers are still trying to figure out how to adapt to this new world which we are headed to. So let's see how you can prepare yourself for the next evolution of SDLC. So as I said, the role of developer is changing. I believe the developer of today will become an architect, an overseer, or a strategist in future when AI becomes completely embedded into your SDLC. We'll have, the developers will become, they will guide the AI-based agentic systems to make sure they're doing the right thing. You will be the, manager for AI-assisted tasks. You will be the strategist for your AI-assisted tasks. You will oversee and make sure that AI is doing the right things. There needs to be a governance process because as you all know, AI models do hallucinate. AI models do produce same errors as any human written code. So as you all know, there's tremendous benefits of AI code generation. It leads to increased developer productivity, democratization of coding, and that what that results in is faster time to market and more innovation at a higher pace, right? All of you must have heard about these tools which are being talked about at the reInvent. Amazon Q Developer, whether it's Codium, GitHub Copilot, or the newer agentic IDEs like Cursor. These are being used by most developers today, and they will become the essential part of a developer's toolkit. You will need to adopt them, there's no denying that, but when you implement these coding tools, you need to make sure you're adopting them responsibly. So, however, as good as AI is, with the rapid adoption that is taking place, there is something which is happening in the industry which I've heard from a lot of customers. I'm calling it the accountability crisis. What I mean by that is AI code generation tools can write the code, they can test the code, they can review the code, but do you want AI to do everything for you? They do hallucinate, they do produce bad code, they do produce insecure code, they do produce poor quality code. LLMs by nature are predictive in nature. They basically predict and they are probabilistic, so they do make errors. So what happens when AI creates an error? Who is accountable for that error? What happens when AI writes correct code, working code, but it is not optimized, it doesn't perform well? Who's responsible for that? Who's accountable for that, right? Till now, in the traditional software development lifecycle, developers were at the center of all software development. They owned writing the code, they owned writing the test cases, they owned managing the performance of the code, they were authors of the code. They would, even if you think about developers using sites like Stack Overflow to write code, they would have to understand the code and then implement it in the IDE in the context of their application. So they had a very good understanding and ownership and accountability for all the code that was being written by them. What is happening with AI is there's an erosion of that trust and accountability which is coming into play. And it will become more and more predominant as we go along into the future. So what is happening is, and this actually is something which our customers have reported to us, there's accountability issues that are happening. I'll give you a story, and this is a real story, and I've heard it from at least multiple customers of ours. We have a large financial bank who ran into this issue. What they did was they leveraged AI coding tools for writing their application code. Their application code was pushed into production. There was an outage because of a bug which was introduced by AI-generated code. They did a root cause analysis. The CTO of that company did a root cause analysis. Doing the root cause analysis, they discovered that the bug was introduced by code which was written by AI. None of the development team wanted to say I am accountable for that code, and rightly so. If you have not written, you feel that I have not written, it's not my accountability, right? So this is the problem which I foresee more and more customers will see, and the solution to that is making developers become the owner of the code, taking the accountability of the code, becoming the overseer of that code, becoming the manager of that code. So in addition to that, we have seen a lot of quality issues and security bugs getting through. While AI can write code which works well, which is syntactically correct, syntactically code is not always the best quality. It is not always the most efficient code. It is not always the most bug-free code. You do need to make sure you have quality checks in place as well. In addition to that, there are several other things which are happening in the SDLC. Shadow IT practices, which is about using LLMs and AI code generation tools which are not authorized. Today, I am seeing a lot of customers say my developers or my development team use code from ChatGPT, from an open source LLM, or from GitHub Copilot, or they have different sources to write the code. They have different ways to write the code. If you don't have a strict policy in terms of adopting the tools correctly and triaging them, evaluating them. There will be shadow IT practices which can lead to unauthorized use of public LLMs, security risks, lack of visibility into your AI-generated code, compromised code quality, and data leakage concerns. So all these are big top-of-mind things for most executives, most development teams. They want to be aware of this. They want to make sure they're taking steps to prevent these things from happening. So how can we prevent this? So this is again not a comprehensive list by any chance. This is just my thought and my talk about how I look at it, how I look at it in the industry, and it might change. But here are some things which I think we should do as developers, as people writing software. We should think about strategies to mitigate the risks, to make sure you're doing the right thing. So I would start with approve specific LLMs within your development teams. Customize those models if you need to for your domain-specific needs. Integrate them into your developer workspace. And this is very important, the third part. This prevents the shadow IT part, which I said. If you integrate LLMs into your developer tool chain, into your SDLC, your developers will use that versus looking around and surfing for some other LLM or some other tool. So if it's useful, it serves your purpose, it should be embedded in your SDLC. You should track how LLMs evolve. Almost 3 versions of OpenAI come out every year, and these are the state-of-the-art models, the large language models. And there are numerous versions of small language models that keep coming out every so often. So track and verify, track how the LLMs are evolving. Track and verify AI-generated code. This is all about ownership, accountability, and reviewing the code for code quality and security. And then measure the performance, measure the metrics, and reevaluate, and do a continuous improvement. It's all about continuously evaluating your use case, your requirements, and improving upon it. So at Sonar, we believe the right approach is trust and verify. What does that mean? It means you should adopt AI tools. You should trust the AI tools. They give a big boost to developer productivity, but do so responsibly. Make sure you verify what they're producing. How many of you have seen images in Twitter or social media which are deep fake images? Right? The same principle applies to code. You can have fake images, you can have hallucinated code, you can have bad code with AI, right? So you want to avoid those deep fake images, you want to avoid bad code getting shipped in, you want to avoid hallucinating LLMs. So what is the approach? Verify everything that the AI, generative AI produces. Not just code, it's about image, it's about video, it's about everything. There should be a verification mechanism for those things. And we at Sonar feel that we have the right set of tools and solutions to help you become the verification solution. How many of you are using Sonar today? Okay, I'm glad to see that almost 50% of you are using. So thank you for being our customers. And those of you who are not using the tool today, I'll give you a quick introduction about what Sonar does. We are a company based in Switzerland, Geneva. Our singular mission is to help developers and AI produce better code. And by better code, I mean code that is secure, reliable, and maintainable. We have three offerings for you. We have Sonar Cube Server, which most of you are familiar with. It's a self-managed solution for code analysis of your pull requests and branch analysis. And it integrates into your DevOps workflow, whether it's GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure DevOps, whatever it is. And then we have an ID-based solution, which is a free open source based solution. All our products are open source based, by the way, which helps you, like Grammarly, it sits inside the ID alongside GitHub Copilot or Amazon Q Developer. And like Grammarly, it tells you if you are making any mistake while writing the code. You can connect Sonar Cube with Sonar Cube and Cloud, and that opens up more value, and I'll talk about that. So for 16 years, we have been doing code analysis, and our singular goal is to help developers produce better code, have a better experience, and our analysis should be accurate. If we don't produce accurate results, developers will stop using us. And we do produce that, and that's why most of you are still using us and you love our products. So today I'm very thrilled to announce or introduce you to AI code assurance, a capability we think that will help you solve the accountability challenges that I just described in the previous slides. It is a strict verification solution. We have a strict quality gate, which we impose on the projects which are using AI-generated code to make sure there are no code quality issues, there are no bugs in it, there are no security issues. If your code has even a single bug in it, we will prevent the build pipeline from building that source code and deploying to production. Catching issues earlier during build stage is much, much better and cheaper than catching them in production, which results in a lot higher costs. So with this feature, we will remove all those accountability issues and provide you with confidence and assurance. So how does it work? At a high level, you tag projects that contain AI-generated code. We take those projects through a workflow of strict evaluation, strict code analysis, and have a quality gate which prevents bad code from getting shipped. If your code passes the criteria, we give you an AI code assurance badge, which makes you more comfortable in terms of deploying that code and trusting that code. So how do we fit in the SDLC overall as Sonar as a company? I'll quickly go through this slide. On the left-hand side, you have IDs. It can be any ID, IntelliJ, Visual Studio Code. You have your AI coding tools, Amazon Q Developer, GitHub Copilot, Google Code Assist, Codium, anything that you want to use. Along with that, we have our ID extension, which is a free ID extension, which starts scanning the code as AI is producing it. We connect our ID extension to Sonar Cube and Sonar Cube, which has got cloud and server options, and they are configured with your DevOps platform as part of a continuous integration pipeline. So as and when you check in code into your repository in GitHub or GitLab, Sonar Cube on server or cloud will again do a deeper check on those code in addition to the checks which we do in IDE, and discover bugs and tell you how to fix them, how to resolve them. And we will make sure any code that goes into production meets the certain standards. It is secure, it is reliable, it is maintainable. As part of Sonar Cube server and cloud, we have two capabilities: AI code assurance, which I just talked about, to assure the code is good, it's high quality. And the second piece is AI code fix, which we recently introduced. Any issues that AI code assurance discovers, we can help you fix those with a click of a button. It will generate a fix for you, but we believe that developers should still be in the loop. They should still own the code. So we don't fix the code for you. We give you the fix suggestions. We generate the fix for you. We ask the developers to review it and make sure you're doing the right thing, you're doing the due diligence before you apply them. So with that, I'll end my talk. I just want to recap. AI is becoming pervasive throughout the SDLC. You want to make sure you're prepared to adopt it responsibly. You have accountability issues taken care of. You want to make sure you're using features like AI code assurance or human reviews or human oversight at any code that is being produced by AI. And we invite you to try AI code assurance. You can try it on the cloud deployment or on a self-managed deployment of Sonar Cube. And we are at booth 1597. If you have any questions or would like to see a demo, I'll be there at the booth. And I'm open to take any questions at the booth as well. I'll be here today as well as tomorrow. I think the booth is closed tomorrow, but I'm around in case anybody has questions. Thank you for your time. If you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, my coordinates are on the slide. And please do fill out the session survey and let us know what you thought about this talk. Thank you again for taking the time.